This is week number 5. This would be day 8. It's Monday, 24th. Intro to networking. The students download Wireshark, installed it on the network side of the computer. Okay, so they got that. Those machines start. We talked about protocols, the OSI, TCP, IP models. We talked about the layers, and I'm going to go through those. Networks, day 1 to now, Friday, the next chapter. So, students need to be working on, right? You can take quizzes, the exams, working on curriculum, and packet tracers. Alright. The OSI model. So we start out, we have software here, a browser, and we're communicate to some software over here. We actually went to michaeldirksen.com. So here's the model. Application layer is a hook into an application. The presentation layer presents the data. It prepares the data. So if the data was going to be encrypted, that would be done here. We set up a session. Sometimes it's referred to as peering over. This is going to be a session at the other end. Over there we have a website that we're communicating with. Transport layer. We create segments with port numbers. We take the data that has moved down through here coming from our browser. Okay, if that makes any sense. We're taking that data and we're splitting it up into segments. Giving them port numbers, and so we're taking and we have this block of data now. Okay, the protocols here, it will either be transporting at TCP or UDP. For a browser, TCP, it's going to, the session's not going to end on either end until they have all the packets. UDP, we're just going to send them. So this would be like for streaming, this is for web browsing, downloading, and so forth. So now we have a segment with what's valuable, our data in there. Then we move down to the next layer, network layer, and we add IP addressing. So we take this segment, we're going to add some addressing in there. That's called encapsulation. Now we call it a packet. We go down even further. Next layer, the data link layer, link addressing. So if it's Ethernet, it would be a MAC address. Now it's called a frame, so we take this same group of data and we add the MAC addressing there at the data link layer. And then the physical layer, we actually put the bits on the median, right? Either wired, wireless, or in the air, or excuse me, through fiber. Let's look at the whole picture here. So I have a browser. I type this URL in it. Eventually, domain name services looks up and gets us an IP address of the destination, this web server. The application layer is hooked into the browser, starts sending the information down. Presentation layer prepares the data to send, and we set up a peering session across. We figure out how we're going to transport it. In this case it's TCP, and we make a segment with port number. This website is port 80. It's not secured. Network layer, we add the IP addressing, destination, and source. And here then it's called a packet. We move it down the data link. It's going to actually move it from one device to another in our local network, and we're using Ethernet, so we'll add a MAC address. Now it's called a frame. So split it up into a segment, create a packet, and then we create a frame, and then the frame is put on the wire, the bits, and then it goes, and it may travel through various locations on the way there. Then it comes the other physical end. So they take the bits, data link, network, TCP, session, and they move it up to the web server. Now the return trip, the web server then switches the IPs around. So now the destination IP is my computer clear over here. It sends it back down. Same thing. Gets put on the wire, gets over here, comes back up, ends up at the browser. And it could be multiple parts, because it's going to get segmented again over here too. So what does the web server sends back? Well, it's sending back the HTML. And then the browser on this end interprets the HTML and makes our, in this case, a very simple website for us to look at. Now, this is the OSI model. We do have the TCP IP model. In that one, these layers are all called application. The transport is still a transport layer. The internet layer is the same as the network layer here. And then we combined data link and physical as network access. Okay. We did a little bit of work. We had Wireshark loaded. We accessed this website. Then it sent the information back, and we captured all of that information in Wireshark. And we started to decipher it. And we're going to do more of that, a little more of that on Friday, plus we'll get started on chapter 4, in fact quite a bit of 4 on Friday. So you need to be working. Yeah, by Friday you should have read and gone through everything up through chapter 4 in the Cisco Networking Academy. Okay, so that's it for today.